This ain't about noise. This about ownership, clarity, strategy, power. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the new episode of Gurll Mind Your Business. We have a really exciting guest today. And when I tell you she is a community advocate. If you're in business, you have a nonprofit, this girl is making moves and she's holding it down with a full-time job, a full-time life. Shimeka is one of these people that works for the Alabama judicial system, and she runs a nonprofit serving food for children and elderly adults in the Black Belt region. She didn't just quit her day job. She started Raise Hope. She started it with her lunch money. How about that? With her lunch money. Now, you don't need a business plan, a grant, or a board to start. You just need to see the need and do something about it. What began as snacks, just simple snacks, in her son's class became a full nonprofit serving one of the most underserved regions in America. Now let's bring Shimeka to the stage so she can enlighten you. And hello, Shimeka. Every woman needs to listen. If you're a woman and had a heart moment, Shimeka is the truth. Now, hello, Shimeka. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Give us a little background on you and just a little about your story.
Okay. Well, I'm married. First of all, Shimeka Cannon. I'm married. I have 2 kids. I have one adorable granddaughter. I'm the founder of Raise Hope. We serve underprivileged children and elderly adults. Our mission, we're trying to bridge the gap and take on food insecurity.
Okay. So take us back to the day Raise Hope actually started. What happened to make you do this?
It just started as a simple act of kindness. One year, I think Kamarie may have been in 5th grade, and I started bringing snacks. And I noticed, just talking with the teachers, certain kids didn't have snacks. So I took it upon myself just that 1 year, because, things change. But I used my lunch money in that 1 year, every so many weeks, maybe twice a month, I would take so many items, snacks or whatever, and just give to the class as a donation. And pretty much that's how Raise Hope blossomed. It just kept being on me, this is really something, but that wasn't the first spark. I think the first spark for me was working as a tutor in the city school system in Tuscaloosa. When I was a student at the University of Alabama, I noticed then a lot of kids didn't have snacks daily. So I think that was the first aha moment. But then as I graduated and then had my own child, that's when I did the first act, I would say, was with his class. Okay. And then within the last few years, that's when I took the time to do the paperwork and start Raise Hope.
That's really interesting. And people don't realize, how much of a need there is. There's a lot of kids and elderly that don't have the snacks, the meals, whatever they need. And people just overlook them all the time, consistent, overlook them. Now, tell us about the Black Belt region and why food insecurity for children and elderly is something that people need to understand.
I think people need to understand there's different levels or different variations of food insecurity. And then you have food deserts. So you may be in a rural area with food deserts. So there's not a lot of grocery stores. You may be 50 miles from a grocery store. So in terms, a lot of people are not able to get nutritionist foods like fresh vegetables, fruit, and things of that nature. And that's where, I kind of want to bridge the gap, trying to reach those areas. Like I just started out, so a lot of things are new. I'm still learning a lot, but that's my goal, my end goal, to reach as many as I can.
And in this economy especially, you can just see the rural areas, even within the city limits, where people are being underserved. And it's so unfortunate. And we need people like you out there, pushing the tables, making people realize that there is a need. Okay.
I agree. Affordability also, I think, plays a part with the food insecurity. Like groceries are high. And right. You hear a lot of people struggling with talking about getting food stamp assistance. And that plays a major role, and I hear some people complaining about like they changed guidelines. Now, I don't know how true it is or what each guideline is, but it's certain things that you may or may not can purchase with food stamps. Like I would hope it wouldn't be like the main things you would need to stay healthy, which are the fresh fruits and vegetables. But regardless, I hear a lot of people talk about like the amount that they get. It's not enough. And then when you're talking about the elderly, that are, most of them are already on set income. So when you get maybe $20, $30, $40 in food stamps, that's hard to survive. Like that's not enough for one person, period. I mean, I just wish it was some way to like revamp that part to like get a substantial amount that we know can last a month when you're talking about food stamps, and especially when you're talking about the elderly, and especially when you're talking about families that have children. Mm-hmm. Especially in rural areas, even low income, like people need help. And I hope that some way somebody revamps that to give more, to help more.
Well, and my thought about that is you got to care about the community before you can serve the community. And we have a lot of people that are self-serving. They don't care about you as long as they get what they need. And we just got to be mindful of how we treat people. My mama always said, you got to care more about other people than yourself. That's where your blessings come from. But people don't care about people anymore. So let's just take a little walk through Raise Hope and tell us about the food drives, the nursing home visits, and the bingo events that you've done. Just paint a picture for us. And, people that don't know anything about you, tell us a little something about you so everybody can know that Raise Hope really is trying to make a difference.
Well, Raise Hope has done a couple of things. We have gone to Greensboro, Alabama, and we've done luncheons with different communities down there. I give a lot of thanks to sponsors like Olive Garden that helped make that possible. Also, I've gone to Marengo County to the nursing home, Woodhaven Manor Nursing Home, where we've played bingo as an activity and also to get them to participate. But at the end, we've also provided necessities, whether it was body wash, toothbrush, toothpaste, combs, hair bonnets, things of that nature, lotion, shaving gel, because I've talked with the staff, like trying to get an idea, because every nursing home is different. Some things they may already provide, and then there's certain things they don't. One of them, they was like, well, for treats, they like Crunch and Munch. So even though that's not a necessity, I still provided it because I feel like the little gestures is what makes their day. Also in the past, for maybe the past 2 years, I've partnered with Miss Shalon Hamilton and with Herb Jones organization and did like a food drive. And we do that toward the end of the year in like November. So they provide pretty much the meat, whether it's ham, turkey, or both. And then I'll provide like fresh vegetables and canned goods, cornbread. I think this year we did a little bit more like snap beans. And then we had someone to like donate desserts while we stood out and waited for the cars to come by to do the food drive. So those pretty much are the things that Raise Hope has done within the last few years. Also, I've done popcorn fundraiser. I've done pizza fundraiser. So hopefully I can keep venturing out, trying to figure out what else can be done. And, I'm open to suggestions. So, yeah.
Okay. And I noticed, after we talk, one of your biggest challenges is getting comfortable asking for donations. A lot of women struggle with that. At first, I'm not really a big public speaker. I'm really a quiet person. Nobody think that, but they don't want to ask for sales, ask for support, or ask for help. Now, what does that feel like now for you since you've shifted?
I have to say, in the beginning, getting comfortable asking, because I think my thought was starting the nonprofit and trying to give, not realizing there are so many different levels to starting a nonprofit. And it's not just about giving. You have to have funding. You have to have donations. It's great if you can get partnership. It's great if you can get support. And support can come in so many different levels, or variations, if you will. So for me, I write letters, I talk to people, and that's how I try to tackle that. But I also know every time you ask for that support, or you're not going to always get a yes. But you're not always going to get a yes, and the no's are okay because it only keeps you pushing because you have a mission. So you got to find a way to get these things done and get people the things that they need.
Yeah. Well, and after every no comes a yes. So
yep, I agree.
Can't stress over that. You can't stress over what you can't control because the cause is greater than your fear. So we just have to keep moving no matter what we're doing, and it'll happen. It may not happen when we want it, but it's always on time. So right now we're going to have a commercial break. This episode of Gurll Mind Your Business is brought to you by Black Women's AI Network. This is a community where Black women and women entrepreneurs don't just use technology. We define it, we design it, and we lead it. If you're a woman entrepreneur ready to utilize the power of AI in your business, your community, or your life, this is your table. Pull up a check. The future of AI, it has your name on it. Okay, now we're back. You mentioned things about helping out all over the community, everywhere. But leadership and being in charge of this, I know it was a big mindset shift for you. You had to get comfortable, delegating, trusting your team, and for a woman who is used to doing everything herself, what made you finally let it go?
I think with the leadership part, I feel like I most definitely had to get comfortable because I'm just not one of those people that strongly just don't mind. Kind of like, do this, do that type of mentality. So I did have to grow into delegating tasks for everybody. And then I also feel like each event we did, we were able to learn something new. And I feel like every time you learn something new, or you figured out what didn't work, or you figured out with the timing, or you figured out this might not work for every group that you're trying to cater to, it helps you get better the next time you do an event. I also think that as a leader, I may want to try to incorporate more questionnaires at events, even if it's just with like the head person. Because sometimes I feel like when you're going to nursing homes or community centers, those people have been around the residents longer, so they may have a better idea. So those are the things that I think about, and I, want to incorporate that so I can continue to be a better leader for my team.
Okay. And I think that's a fantastic idea, because you have to get input in order to be a good leader. And some people just not willing to listen to any input. They don't want anybody to tell them, because they have that mindset. It needs to run like this, and that's what I want. And then it folds, and then they wonder why. But, even the naysayers, what they have to say, that's good information for you. No matter what the information, you just got to be receptive to whatever it is. So
I agree. All criticism isn't bad criticism. And even sometimes if it feels bad or it feels offensive, I feel like you always can take something from it, whether it's big or small. Everybody is not so much, I would say, out to get you. And some people genuinely sit back, may watch, and genuinely want to add to what you're doing. So I feel like we all, when you're starting a nonprofit or for-profit or anything, nothing's wrong with listening to what someone has to say. And you could put it in so many perspectives, but what you do with it, it could possibly help you grow.
Right.
Oh.
And sometimes we just got to get out of our own way.
Mm-hmm.
So, and in our conversation, you said that you were pivoting and raise hope toward children before school starts in August. What does a woman do when the mission is bigger than the resources? And how do you keep moving forward? You want to do this, but you need help.
You have to figure it out. You just have to I feel like research helps. Research and seeing who has something that's similar to what you're doing. Look and see what they're saying they've done. Look and see what they said has worked for them or didn't work. I feel like the internet is just so much on the internet that you could use. You could use it to your benefit. So before just giving up or thinking it's not going to work, or just because you might get a no here, you just have to keep going and figure out what it is. It's kind of like the mindset, you get a no here, go to the next door. Knock again until you get what you need.
Yeah. And that's good. Figuring it out is all about putting one foot in front of the other and just making sure you stay focused on your mission. That's really important, because your mission is always bigger than your resources, no matter what. Okay, Shimeka, we have a few more minutes, so just tell the community, the listeners, what it is you really want to get from starting over this August, what you're planning to shift to. Tell them what the need is for August. It's early in the year, school will be starting shortly, but there's a need. So tell the listeners what your need is.
My need is healthy snacks. If anybody want to donate healthy snacks, school items, because my plan is before August or when August, I'll be planning before August, but for when August get here, I want to be able to go to a school in the Black Belt community, maybe Hale County, maybe Greene County. But my goal is to maybe on open house night, provide snacks, because it's got to be a way to get these kids snacks. I don't think people realize sometimes what underprivileged means. And it's not a choice. Nobody wants to be underprivileged. You know, sometimes that's just out of your control. But when you work around kids, sometimes you notice how they act. And then you might not know why. But sometimes these kids are hungry. Sometimes they don't eat till they come to school. Like sometimes I feel like we could take stuff for granted because we have, but everybody's situation is different. So for me, I would like to figure out how to tackle more schools and serve more underprivileged children. And in August, that is my goal, to provide snacks for when schools start. You know, and I pray that it grows bigger than what I'm expecting. I don't take anything for granted, and I do think the little things count. Am I going to say it's going to be oh so big? No, but I'm going to give what I can give, and that's what I'm working on now. So any donations are very much welcome, big or small. Any advice is very much welcome. Like I said before, this is new for me. I've just started out, but I have touched a few people's lives, and I want to continue to do that, and especially kids. Our kids are our future. And our elderly, if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have the wisdom, knowledge, love, everything that they've taught us. We've got that. So from our elderly seniors. So without them, we have to take care of them as well. Mm-hmm. Those two groups of people, I feel, your children and your elderly, we have to take care of those two groups of people.
Okay, well, tell the audience, the listeners, how they can reach out to you, send donations, whatever link where you're located. Let everybody know how to contact you. If there's a website, you are on the socials, just give them all that information.
Yes.
And it'll also be, it's going to be put in on the page.
raise-hope.com. It's the website. Also, Raise Hope 21 is my Instagram handle, and Raise Hope, sorry, there's noise in the background. Raise Hope is Facebook.
Okay.
And the logo is a blue heart. It's a blue circle with a gold heart. Let me say that.
Okay. And that's how they know. And that's Raise, RAES.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
That's part of my daughter's name. That's where the inspiration came from.
Okay. All right. And that's great to know. So in the last couple of minutes that we have, if this conversation spoke to you, if you have ever had a moment where you saw a need and felt something stir up inside of you, and you want to know that the only thing standing between you and that feeling is something real, and you decide to start. You don't need everything figured out. Shimeka started Raise Hope with her lunch money. I can't stress that enough. Lunch money. And if you want to follow her journey, support the mission, or see what else she has going on, if your heart want to take some action, Raise Hope is it. Follow her at Raise, RAES-hope.com. She's on Facebook and Instagram. Mm-hmm. And if you're just in the Black Belt region or know somebody who is, reach out. You can show up for your community. Shimeka is showing up and she doesn't even live in the community. Or if you want to show up and you love to help, do so and raise hope. You can like, share, subscribe. This is exactly the kind of conversation that we need, and people are doing great things in the background. You don't need all the accolades. Just do what you do. Show up for somebody else for once. Share this episode, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks, Shimeka, for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
All right. And we hope to hear some good things going on with you in the future. All right.
Yeah. This ain't about music. This ain't about noise. This is about ownership.